Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Nick from Australia, and welcome to another live stream for your Monday nights, February 5th, 2024. It is currently 8:06 p.m. I hope everybody is doing well. If you're wondering what on earth is wrong with my eye, basically, I woke up this morning and it was one of those old fashioned bloodshot situations where I woke up and it was red and there's nothing I could do about it. So my eye is fine. But as always, if you guys are new around here, thank you very much, firstly, for tuning into the channel. Don't forget to like the stream and subscribe to the channel. And as you can tell by the title of the video, tonight's live stream is my NRL 2024 Dally M Team of the Year prediction, where I'm going to basically put together my best 1 to 13, and I reckon this 1 to 13, I reckon all these players are going to have the best year. So, they're going to be the best in their position this year. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of players you could go with. I mean, for fullback of the year, there's probably like 9 guys you could choose from. There's so many. Same with like the centers and the halves, front row, all the positions really. Like anyone can have a great year and be potentially Dally M prop of the year, second row, halfback of the year. We just don't know. But the other thing I want to say quickly is if I don't put your teams, if I don't put your team or a certain player on this list, don't get upset. I obviously can't put everyone on this list because there's only 13 players, 13 positions. So anyway, hello to the live chat. Hello to Jason, Aussie Mozzie, SS Storm fans, CJ Moxley, everyone else that is watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you all. All right, without further ado, we're going to get into it. Nick from Australia's Dally M Team of the Year. We're going to go position by position. And I'm just going to give you a reason why I think they will be the best in their position this year. So we're going to begin with the fullback. And I know it might sound a little bit boring, but I think this bloke is going to back up what he did last year. And my prediction for fullback of the year is none other than Reece Walsh. And I know a lot of people don't like Reece Walsh, and that's fine. Everyone's got their 2 cents. You can hate players, dislike players, love them at the end, whatever it may be. I'm predicting Reece Walsh to be the fullback of the year in 2024. I think he will back up what he did last season. What he did last season was absolutely fantastic. Now, I know he didn't win fullback of the year because of the suspension, and obviously went to Kalen Ponga. But we all know Reece Walsh was the best fullback in the game last year. And I think if he gets his attitude right, if he doesn't, go off at referees and stays on the field for most of the year, I think Reece Walsh will be the fullback of the year. So I'm going with, the pretty boy that everyone likes to call him, Reece Walsh, for fullback of the season. Moving on to the wingers. Now, this bloke had an outstanding 2023. And again, a bit like Reece Walsh, I think this man is going to back up what he did last year. And I'm going to go with Dallin Watene-Zelezniak on the wing. I think Dallin Watene-Zelezniak is going to have a great season. I think he's one of the best wingers in the NRL. He scores tries at will. The combination last year between Shaun Johnson and Charles Nicoll-Klokstad going on that right-hand side with Rocco Berry with Dallin was outstanding. And look, I know Dallin might be a bit of a boring prediction, but I'm so excited for Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. I think he's one of the best wingers in the competition. I think he's out for another very big season. So I'm going to throw him on the wing. Lachlan in the chat says maybe Selwyn Cobbo. If you're not aware of this, Lachlan, Selwyn Cobbo's actually moving to left center. So, I mean, he could end up back on the wing, but at the moment, he's going to play in the centers. So, I've got Dallin on one wing. On the other wing, I'm going with Xavier Coates from the Melbourne Storm. Xavier Coates, so much potential. He obviously come on the scene a couple of years ago at Brisbane, did well up there, obviously went down to Melbourne. He's had a couple of good years there. Excuse me. He's had some good moments down there, but he's also proven to be a very inconsistent winger. And I think this season, Xavier Coates, he's one of the outside backs at the Melbourne Storm that he needs a really big season, man. Like, he's under pressure now because you look at Melbourne, you got Warbrick on one wing, you've got Remus Smith in the centres with potentially Tominapea, but then you've got guys like Grant Anderson that are on his tail. You've got Nick Meaney on his tail. You've got Farlongo on his tail. Marion Seve. Like, Xavier Coates' position isn't safe by any means. So, obviously, he will probably get first crack, but he needs a big year, Xavier Coates. I'm not saying he will play State of Origin this season, but I'm expecting a really big season from Xavier Coates. So I'm actually going to predict Xavier Coates to be one of the wingers of the season alongside Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. We'll see what happens. Moving on to the centres now, we're going to go with Campbell Graham from the Rabbitohs. Now, look, Campbell Graham, the first 10 to 12 rounds last year was probably the best centre in the game alongside Stephen Crichton, and obviously Campbell Graham injured his sternum, and he pretty much played the back end of the year with an injured sternum, and he had some terrible injuries at the back end of the year, and he just wasn't the player he was at the start of last year. And I look at Campbell Graham, and I see a State of Origin player in the making here for New South Wales. I see a top 5 centre in the NRL in Campbell Graham, and I think now that he's fully fit, he's ready to go, there isn't many excuses anymore for Campbell Graham. I think he's had a big preseason, massive year ahead for Campbell Graham, and I honestly believe he will be one of the centres of the year. So the first centre, I'm going with Campbell Graham. The other centre, he's from Penrith. He plays at Penrith, and now that Stephen Crichton's gone, I think this man is going to step up, and that is Isaac Tago. I'm predicting Isaac Tago to be one of the centers of the year. Man, Tago is an absolute gun. Now, I'm pretty sure he's eligible for New South Wales. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong about Isaac Tago for Origin. But this bloke is an absolute gun, man. He had an incredible year last year. He really stood out on that left-hand side. Obviously, now that Crichton's moved on to Canterbury, I think Tago is going to go to the next level. Tago, however you pronounce it. I think he's going to go to the next level now. I think there's going to be a bit more attention on him. He's going to be playing with Jerome Luai and obviously Taruva, I reckon, as well on that left-hand side, or maybe Brian Toto, depending on what side that he's on. But I think Tago is going to explode this season. You get the feeling sometimes where you see a young player come on the scene, they have a very solid year, and then the next year they just go from solid to the next level. And I'm telling you, I'm confident in saying Isaac Tago is one of those players. He's going to go from, maybe a top 10, top 7 center. I'm predicting Isaac Tago to be a top 3 center by the end of 2024. And I reckon he will be a center of the year with Campbell Graham. So we'll see how he goes. 5A for the year. Now, this bloke had a good year last year, but I don't think he was as good as he has been in previous years. My 5A for the year is going to be Cameron Munster. Munster was solid last year. I wouldn't say he was out of this world, terrific, magnificent, or anything like that. But I think Cameron Munster, he's going to go, right, he needs a big season. I'm not saying he was terrible last year, but, you had Ezra Mam outplay him. You had a few other 5'8s that were probably better than him last year. Maybe even Jerome Luai was probably better. So Munster, for me, when he's fully fit, Munster's the best 5'8" in the competition. There's absolutely no denying that. And I think now that he saw, some of the young fellas come on the scene, I think Munster's going to bounce back and have a huge season. So, I mean, we all know Munster's resume. I don't really need to get into it too much, but if Munster's at his best, I think he'll be the best 5'8" in the game this year. So, Munster to be the Dally M 5'8" of the year. Halfback. But first, let me just have a mouthful of this Coke. Beautiful. Halfback of the year. Again, there's a number of players you could choose here. You could choose Nathan Cleary. You could choose Shaun Johnson. You could choose Daly Cherry Evans, Jerome Hughes, Adam Reynolds. Choose whoever you want. But I'm going a little bit outside the box here. My halfback of the year is going to be Mitchell Moses. Mitchell Moses is going to be the Dally M halfback of the year this season. I'm actually pretty keen on the Eels, as you guys know. I've got them in my top 8. I think Parramatta are going to have a good season. And I think Mitchell Moses is going to be a very important part of that. And I feel if Mitchell Moses can control the game with his kicking game and his running game, and if Dylan Brown stays on the field, Brown, Moses as a combination is going to be good. And I'm going Mitchell Moses to be the halfback of the year. I think he's going to bounce back. Obviously, he played Origin last year, and obviously Parham missed the top 8. Moses is going to want redemption, and I think he'll have a big season. So, Mitchell Moses to be the halfback of the year. Moving on to the front row. Now, there's plenty of candidates here. Front row, let's go Regan Campbell-Gillard. Let's throw him in there. RCG. Now, he did miss a lot of time at the start of last year. Come back, killed it, missed out on Origin, and then he got caught up in Origin, for Game 3, I think it was. And then, obviously, he had a very good back end of the year. I think he got suspended as well. So, Campbell-Gillard last year had a lot of distractions, a lot of dramas. But now that he's back, ready to go, looking fit, looking solid. I mean, we know how good Regan Campbell-Gillard is. At his best, when he's behaving on the field, RCG is a top 5 prop in the game. There is no denying that. And I feel like I said before about Parramatta, I think they're going to have a very good season. I think Campbell-Gillard's going to be part of that. I think he's going to be leading the Eels forward. I think Campbell-Gillard is currently better than Junior Paulo as well when it comes to the front row. So I'm keen on Campbell-Gillard. I think he's out for a massive year. So I'm going to throw him in there with one of the props of the season. Alongside the other prop, who's probably the best prop in the game, give me Payne Haas. Look, I'd be very surprised if Payne Haas isn't in the props of the year. I mean, we know how good he is. He leads the Broncos every week in the middle, runs for fucking 200 meters a game. Doesn't score tries very often, but what he does is he destroys the brick wall of the opposition. He goes straight through it, causes havoc. He gets players nervous. Payne Haas, he's the best prop in the game, and I feel like if he does what he did last year, he'll be prop of the year again. I just don't see why not. I mean, RCG, Payne Haas, I think it's a very good front row. So I'm going Payne Haas to be one of the props of the year once again. Now, dummy half of the year, the number 9, the hooker of the season. Again, plenty of guys you could throw in this. You could go with Blake Brayley, Cook, Robson, Coruscant, Grant. I'm going someone else. He's a little bit forgotten. He had a very slow start last year. Some would say disappointing, but his last 6 weeks of the year were very good, and I reckon this year is going to put it together. It's finally fits in to the system of this team. My dummy half of the year is the cheese, Brandon Smith. Brandon Smith needs a massive year. Last year, he was below average. He was nowhere near what he was at Melbourne. I think now that he's had a year at the Roosters, combinations, getting into the system, learning how things go at the Roosters. I think Brendan Smith is going to have a big season at the Roosters. He needs a big season because last year just wasn't good enough for him, and I think he needs a big year. So I'm going to go with the Cheese, who could be the best hooker in the game at his best. I'm going to go with Brendan Smith to be the hooker of the season. I think he's in for a massive year. So the Chiefs to have a big one. Moving on to the second row. We're going to go with the Panthers back rower, the enforcer, Liam Martin. Again, it might be a little bit boring, but Liam Martin, we know how good he is. He's the Australia Kangaroos, New South Wales second rower. He's won 3 grand finals in a row on that right edge with Penrith. He's probably the best second rower in the game. And a bit like Payne Haas, if Liam Martin continues to do what he did last year and the year before that, then I think Liam Martin will be back row of the year once again. He's too good of a player not to be, in the top 3, top 4 second rowers in the game. He's extremely consistent. Doesn't mind scoring a try as well. He tends to be good at scoring some tries. So anyone out there that's having a same game multi, don't forget about Liam Martin because he tends to be good value. But Liam Martin, he's in for a big season. He'll be second. He'll be one of the second rowers of the year. Alongside, might be a little bit biased, but I'm going to go with him because I believe in him and I trust him. Jeremiah Nanai will be one of the second rowers of the season. Now, look, obviously 2022, Nanai came on the scene, scored, record-breaking tries, did absolutely everything that he could do. He had an incredible year in 2022. Nanai, last year, again, just a few dramas last year. Suspensions, injuries, lots of unfortunate distractions last year. Just things didn't go the way he would have liked. It suffered a bit of adversity. Now Nanai is back, fit, ready to go. No World Cup distractions. He's had a full preseason. I think Jeremiah Nanai is going to have a breakout year once again. He's going to get back to his best. I mean, even though Nanai had some dramas last year, he was still the Queensland second rower, and he played for Australia as well in the World Cup. So expecting Nanai to have a very big year, and I reckon he'll be in the back row of the year with Liam Martin. Now, lock of the year. It ain't going to be Isaiah Yeo. It ain't going to be Cameron Murray. It ain't going to be Tohu Harris. It ain't going to be Victor Radley. It ain't going to be Cam McInnes. It ain't going to be Jermaine Hopgood either. You know who's going to be the hooker? Who's going to be the lock of the season? Again, might be biased, but I do not give a shit. The lock of the year is going to be Reuben Cotter. And I'll explain why I believe in Reuben Cotter. Now, Reuben Cotter, he's a very good ball-playing lock. He tackles like anything, plays 80 minutes, absolutely outstanding. Last year, Reuben Cotter won the Wally Lewis medal in the State of Origin series. Obviously, his form after that was very good. One of the Cowboys' best players, obviously missing out on finals, which was disappointing. But I'm telling you now, Reuben Cotter, full preseason, fit, ready to go, is going to play lock forward, which is clearly his best position. If Reuben Cotter can stay healthy, I reckon he'll be the best lock in the game, man. I mean, you've got your Paddy Carrigans, your Yeos, your Murrays, your Harris, your McInnes, your Radleys, all these sort of players. But Reuben Cotter, I mean, if Reuben Cotter can be the best player in an Origin series, there's no reason why he can't be the best lock in a whole NRL season. There's no reason why he can't. So we'll see what happens. I could be wrong. It could be someone else, but I'm predicting Reuben Cotter to be the Dally M lock of the year. So there we go, guys. That's my Dally M team of the year. I will just quickly go through it with you guys. So, yeah, fullback Reece Walsh. On the wings, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak and Xavier Coates. Centers are going to be Campbell Graham and Isaac Tago. The halves, Cameron Munster and Mitchell Moses. The front row of Regan Campbell-Gillard and Payne Haas. Brendan Smith to dummy half. Liam Martin in the back row alongside Jeremiah Nanai and Ruben Cotter. Well, there it is, folks. That is my team of the year, my 2024 Dally M team of the year. You guys can let me know what your team of the year is in the comments section below. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. Enjoy the rest of your night. Now, tomorrow, there will be no podcast tomorrow because I'm going somewhere tomorrow and I won't get back till late. So the podcast is going to be moved to Wednesday night this week, and then obviously back to Tuesday the following week, just so everyone knows that. So tomorrow, no podcast. There might be a little stream. We'll see what happens. But I've got big plans tomorrow, so I won't be back home till very late anyway. So just letting you guys know the podcast will be moved to Wednesday for this week. But anyway, folks, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night, and see you guys later.